Good morning, and we are in December 15th to the 21st. So we're getting right up to Christmas. Next week we're going to be talking about Christmas. This week we're going to talk about the family of proclamation to the world. Um, and it's the 30th anniversary of this. They're not just putting this in though because it's 30 years and they thought they'd throw it in. It's actually been a part of our culture for 30 years. It certainly has affected my life, and in that 30 years, I can't think. In fact, I'm sure it was said in conference, there was not a single conference that was um, the family proclamation to the world has not been mentioned in those 30 years. That's a lot. That's about 60 um, conferences in which the family proclamation to the world has been mentioned and quoted. And there's only like, I think, 8 verses. So it's short, and we're going to get into it really deep and get our claws into it, you might say. And a few of the um, conference talks as well. Um, but to me, when it was given, I knew that it was um, of God. I got a testimony of that. And to tell you the truth, I knew that one day it'd probably be canonized, which it hasn't been. So I'm not a prophet really, but um, to tell you the truth, also, most things were canonized years and years and years afterwards. Um, even the manifesto wasn't actually canonized until um, 1978, I believe, when um, they canonized the um, other proclamation, the second proclamation on the um, priesthood, which we talked about uh, last week or yesterday, really. Um, this means that this may go for a while. There's no reason to canonize it, I guess, right now. But, and I don't think it's a subject that we really need to discuss because it's still a family, a proclamation to the world. And it is a proclamation, it is something that is there for us and it proclaims to the world these things. And we'll go through it line by line in the next few days. But I just want to start with the come follow me. Even before we were born, we were part of a family, and the family of our heavenly parents. That pattern continues on earth. Families here at their best are meant to echo the perfect pattern in heaven. I just want to point out no matter where you are in your life, you can still have this heavenly uh, blessings of the family. Of course, there are no guarantees that earthly families will be ideal or even function, but as Henry B. Eyring taught, families give God's children the best chance to be welcomed to the world with only love, with the only love on earth that comes close to what we felt in heaven, parental love. There has been a lot of attack on the family. We all know that. That's not anything new. But as I look around, even people around that seem very um, against religion or whatever, sometimes they have very strong family ties as well. They still can feel that love, and the parents still love them. Um, it doesn't happen all the time. It's not perfect. Knowing that families are imperfect and subject to attacks from the adversary, God sent his beloved Son to redeem us and heal our families. I love the fact that he put it, redeem us and heal our families. He's not just here to heal us alone, but to heal our families. And he sent latter-day prophets with a proclamation to defend and strengthen families. If we follow the prophets and put faith in the Savior, even though mortal families fall short of divine ideal, there's hope for families on earth, even on earth and in heaven. When we get into the proclamation tomorrow, we will see how important these things are. Um, and we'll go through a few more. I'm just going to go through a few things to get your going. We'll get into the family proclamation. Um, it's clearly about families, but equally it's about God's plan of salvation. One way to study the proclamation, and that's why I'm saying it today. You might want to start going through it like this: right phrases, premortal life, mortal life, and postmortal life, so that you can see how the proclamation is about the plan of salvation or the plan of happiness on a piece of paper and list what the proclamation teaches about each of these topics. What do you learn when you study the proclamation this way? How does this help? Sorry. You understand why marriage and family are essential to God's plan. How do the truths of the proclamation influence your choices? There are many people who, for a variety of reasons, might be fearful about marriage or raising children. If a friend said to you, I don't ever want to get married or have family, what would you say? Perhaps you could search the proclamation and look for something that would help your friend have hope in God's plan. Another question you might be asked, or that you might ask yourself, is one like this: what if my family situation doesn't match what's described in the family proclamation? Here are two places you may look for prophetic counsel. We'll get in those later this week, and also a little bit from Dal and Nate Chokes. Each person is a beloved son or daughter of heavenly parents. We often think of the family proclamation as a guide to family, but it also teaches important truths about our heavenly family and eternal identity. We should always be looking at that and not just think, oh, well, I'll pass by this because it doesn't mean anything to me. So we'll talk a little bit later, and we'll see you later.